Welcome back to the Stage Coach. We've finished up the driver's seat and everything. Got that on. Next thing we're going to work on for the plans or the instructions would normally be the gold trim around the coach and everything. We already did that. So I'm looking at the instructions over here on my side. And the leather strapping around the windows, which I'm not doing yet. I'm going to do something I'm kind of excited to do and see how it looks. We're going to work on the roof. Now the roof is coated on one side with this sapili and banded around the edge with the same type of wood. This is the inside. On the outside, we come through. We're going to make it look, I don't know how you can see that. We're going to make it look like this. And that is done with a walnut strip and then a basswood strip, then a walnut strip, basswood strip, and so on across. Preparation of that, I marked out the center line and on either side of the center line so I can get, hopefully, the start of the walnut strip right down the center, which I think is how it's supposed to be, is a walnut strip down the center. If not, then it should have been that way. So the first thing to do would be to take one of the strips of walnut and go down the center, and it looks like we can get 2 strips out of each length that they give us. So the first thing I want to do, just to get a good start, is I want to take one of the walnut strips and glue right down the center, clamp it in place, and let that dry for a good long time so that it's straight, doesn't move, and we have something consistent to go up against on either side. To that end, I'm going to actually take my straight edge on here as well, flip upside down, so I can get this piece of wood straight when I clamp it down. Otherwise, you can clamp it down, you have a bow in it. You don't want that, you want it straight. So I'm going to take a piece. It's easier to work with by cutting it off. The end doesn't matter, it's going to get trimmed to fit anyway. And we're going to glue this sucker down, let it weight it down, let it sit for a couple hours, let that glue pretty much set, and then we'll come back and we'll start getting the outside, start building out one side and the other. And I'm just going to keep doing this with my wood glue here. Doesn't take a lot, and when you get this glued down and set in place, you want to clean the squeeze that out while it's still fresh, or relatively fresh. That way you don't have anything blocking from putting down the next piece of wood. And then once you get this piece glued in place, those next pieces of wood, you can just pretty much slather the whole inside and just lay them all in place, or you should be able to if I'm thinking right. And for those, well, maybe not, because you want to glue on the side as well. So maybe for those we'll end up doing a few at a time and getting them glued in place. So like I said, we're going to get this down. We're going to put our ruler right next to it so we can get it straight. Come to our line on one side. And then we're going to weight this down. Double check either side. We want this up on top. We want it as straight as possible, and we want it as centered as possible. So that's going to sit there and dry for a while now, and we'll come back in a couple hours and see how we go. Okay, so I started putting the top on the roof, and this is literally made up of a thin piece of, what is this, birch that stands on end, and then a piece of walnut that's 3mm by 1.5mm that goes next to it, sandwiches it in there, so you end up with the striping. Use whatever glue you want. I'm using wood glue on this. I figured if I was using super glue, I'd have had this thing glued to my fingers 17 times already. I'm just taking it slow and easy, just one at a time. Get one glued in, hold it in place, let it get set up, move on to the next one. This area here, I already shaved down the top a bit to see what it's going to look like. And if I wet it down, you can start getting an idea what it'll look like when it's done. So I'm going to continue on this, get done. Be advised, I'm pretty sure the kit shorted me on these 3mm by 1.5mm walnut. Fortunately, you can buy more of this on the web. I know Model Expo online sells it. I had actually purchased some from there previously for a decent price, so I have a whole other bundle of these that did not come with the kit. That just leaves these birch, or whatever birch pieces here that I'm concerned about having enough of. So I'm just working out to this edge right now to see where I'm at. And that leaves me, I remember sure that leaves me literally only 4 or 5 strips of that birch left. So we'll see how far I get. Push comes to shove, see if I just do a wide piece of walnut on the edges maybe. So I'm going to continue getting this roof done, and we'll come back and see how it looks when I'm done. Okay, so I have this entire roof covered now with the walnut and the I guess birch. The edge pieces, I use a wider piece on either side, so I end up with a sliver. I've gone back and trimmed this side and sanded it and started trimming this side. When you're trimming this wood, this walnut, you can use your knife, but don't start here and trim it. Always go so the knife's going out with the grain. So start at the center and come back. And what you'll do is you get one side done, that edge piece, then you come back. It's light down here to actually see something. Do the other side. And you'll get this piece off without running the grain out or anything up here. And just continue on all the way to the edge on these curves. You should end up with a nice even curve that you just come back and sand down and make it look good. These ends, I've actually been cutting with the back saw. So I get a nice flush, almost flush cut. And cutting them off, and I end up with like this. I can just sand it down. For this top, the birch is actually taller than the walnut, so I came through with my little plane here and just took the birch off where it sticks up above, and then I'll go back and probably hit this with just a DA sander and 200 grit paper, 150 grit paper or whatever, and just smooth this off, get nice and smooth down, and then hit it with a higher to get it extra smooth. And then the last thing to do will be to come back and do some beaded edging around this entire edge. So I'm going to get this trimmed off, sand down, and we'll come back and get that beaded edging on, see how we do that. Okay. As you can see, extreme close up here, we've got the roof in place, bolted in place. I also put the back of the bench seat in the front in place. This is supposed to be this 5mm wide wood just wrapped around the pad, but I found then the pad sunk too deep, so I put a couple of 1.5mm pieces on the back of the pad to bump it out so I can build the frame to that. Gave it the right depth, got that glued in place. Not perfect here. I found that this side, this shifted a little bit when I glued it, so this side's a little bit lower, or this side's not, this whole end's not square, this side's taller. Not sure which. Minimize that by how I put the seat on so to kind of hide that. Got my holes drilled in the side right here for the lantern. I'm make sure I can put them on. So now I just need to start working on the top and the sides here and all the blinds here. But look at the instructions. Top on, I need to do the wiring for the lights first, but I haven't had the lights installed yet, so I'll put those on later. I'm painting them now. Wait for the primer to dry. But then the instructions take you through doing the railings around the driver's seats, the bags that go around the driver on either side of the driver's seat, and then finally takes you on to the luggage rack in the back. Excuse me. I'm going to skip all this for now. Start on the luggage rack in the back next. So that's what we're working on next time when we come back. But for now, I will let you go. And thank you for watching.